Today we're going to develop your time and your groove. My name's Kent and we're going to take a look at 16th notes. What are 16th notes? This means we split each beat into 4 equal rhythms, so we have 16 notes per bar of 4/4. We like to count this as 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and I've heard some other ways of counting this as well, using tika tika tika, or taka dimi, or waka chika, whatever works for you. For this video, I'm gonna stick with the 1 E and method. Let's take an E9 chord. People know this as the funk chord. You may know this shape already, but we're gonna go over it. So it's gonna be your middle finger going on the 7th fret of the 5th string. Your pointer finger is gonna go on the 6th fret of the 4th string. And then you have 2 options here. The way I'm going to do it, which is a little bit harder, is I'm going to take my ring finger and I'm going to actually bar it on the 7th fret on strings 1, 2, and 3 while keeping this down. That's quite tricky. So if you can't do that, you can just put your ring finger on the 7th fret of the 3rd string and put your pinky on this 7th fret of the 2nd string, and we'll just mute the 1st string. So if you kind of touch it with that pinky, we'll get a muted sound, and we'll just do that chord. So this will be the alternative for the easy way to do it if you can't do the full bar like this. I encourage you to work up to getting this shape because it's really useful, and then we can, as you get more advanced, you can use this pinky to do other stuff as well, but we're not gonna worry about that for today. All right, so we're gonna play 16th notes with this chord, and we're just gonna go down, up for the 16th note. So if we're thinking 1 E and that's down, up, down, up. So let's try it. We're gonna do a bar of 4/4. So that's 16 16th notes, all down, up, holding down just the one chord. Let's do this slow at first, and then we're gonna speed it up. So the slow tempo will go 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and You'll notice on this chord, I'm kind of using my middle finger to touch the 6th string, so we mute it. If you happen to play the open 6th string, it's totally fine. It actually works really well in this chord. Eventually, you're going to want to try to mute it, but don't stress too hard about that. Let's do the same thing, but let's speed it up a little bit. So 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and So you're going to work on keeping that going. We just did 1 bar, but feel free to extend that out, 4 bars, 8 bars, 16 bars, or you can even time yourself. So go for 1 minute or 3 minutes or 5 minutes and keep trying to extend that while keeping those 16th notes consistent. So this is not super funky, so we're going to funk this up. We're going to mix in muted notes. So with the same chord shape, we can actually mute the strings by lifting up our fingers. So we keep the chord shape looking the same. Remember, you can still use this one if the bar's too hard. And you're gonna touch all the strings but not push down. Okay, so we get this muted sound. So if you lift too much, you're gonna hear the open strings, which we don't want. And if you push down too hard, you're gonna hear a note, which we also don't want. And I'm still doing the same cheat with my middle finger, where I'm touching the 6th string to mute it. Okay, some people like to bring their thumb up over and grabbing it with kind of the meaty part of your thumb on the side. It's not exactly my cup of tea, but if it works for you, great. So let's do the same exercise, but we're going to do muted 16ths. So we'll do slow, and then we'll do fast, and we'll just do 1 bar. So 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and Let's do it a little bit faster. 3 E and 4 E and So what we're going to do next is combine both of these ideas. So we're going to do what I like to call stabs on each of the chords, which means we're going to push down and put the chord stab on the downbeats, and then we're going to lift up the chord and mute the remaining, like the E and of the beat. Okay, so we have the chord hitting on 1, and then we're going to lift up and mute for E and Don't let that change your right hand. You're still going down, up, down, up. That's not changing at all. So let's give that a try. So on the downbeats. So 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Now let's move that over to the E of the 16th note. So rather than on beat 1, 2, 3, and 4, we're on the E's. This is quite a bit harder, so take your time and get used to it. Start slow, get used to that stab coming on the up pick, because we're gonna go down, up, and hit the chord on that second up, or the first up pick that we do. So it'd be 1 and 2 and like that. Let's put it in context. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a. Let's move it over one more time. So this is now going to be on the and, or some people call this the offbeat or the upbeat of the bar. So we're going to go 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 and. So let's give that a try. So we got 1 E. Now we're going to move it to the last beat, the ah of the beat. This one is very difficult, so take your time with it. Go slow, build up the speed. Don't get too frustrated. It's going to come with time. And it's a really tough one to nail. But let's give it a try. So we're going to 3 E and a 4 E and a. So don't move on with this lesson video until you are comfortable with all 4 placements of that 16th note, especially the E's and the Ahs. Those are really tough. Put a metronome on or put a backing track on and play along with that and really get those comfy. Now let's try to combine some of these rhythms. I stole this exercise from Corey Wong, and it's a really great one to work on moving the accents around in the 16th notes. So we're gonna do 4 of each one. So we're gonna do on beat 1, 2, 3, 4. The next bar, we're gonna do the E's, so E, 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 and then the ands, and then the ahs, okay? We'll have something on the bottom of the screen so you can keep track of what's going on here. So 4 on beat 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 on the E's, 4 on the ands, 4 on the ahs. Let's give it a try. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. How did that go? Pretty good? Well, let's make it a little harder. We're gonna do 2 of each this time. So 2 on 1, 2, and then shift to the E's. Then you're gonna shift to the ands, and then shift to the ahs. So a little bit faster this time. And 4, and Nice, pretty tough, right? Well, we're gonna make it even harder. So we're gonna just do 1 of each. So we go beat 1, and then the next beat on the E, and then the next beat on the and the last beat on the ah. Let's do this one a couple times because it goes by pretty quick. And a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. After you get the hang of this, you can start to freestyle it and then throw in stabs wherever you like. Now we're really funky. Let's try it. You throw stabs in, but make sure to keep that right hand motoring along. Let's give it a try. The hard part is not letting what you do with your left hand affect your right hand. They have to be completely independent of one another. Our hands really like doing the same thing all the time, so it's gonna take a little bit of time to get them separated. Your brain's gonna figure it out. Don't worry, go slow and build up your confidence. Once you master this, your overall sense of time and groove is gonna start to improve. You're gonna start to feel your time better and have more rhythmic freedom in your playing. Take a video of the first time you do this exercise. Save it and watch it after a week or so of practicing and see what the difference is. If you're one of our awesome Drumeo students, maybe you can take one of your rudiments that you've been learning, move it over to the guitar. There's a ton of options you can choose from. So once you have that down, the next step you can do is start to move the chord around. Don't worry about changing the shape, just keep the same E9 shape and just move it around to different frets. That can also really help to accentuate some of the stabs. Instead of always going, I can start to move the chord either up a half step or down a half step or a whole step up. You can find combinations, so why don't we try that? So we'll do beat 1, 2, 3 on the E9 chord, and then on beat 4, we're gonna move it up to make it an F9 chord. And then we'll go back. We'll do that a couple times. So here we go. 3E and a 4E and a. And you can start to have even more freedom with this. Start to make a big jump and slowly work your way back down, or combine some downs and going back ups. And if you're really advanced, you can slide into your stabs. So instead of just hitting the chord, you can slide into the chord from a fret below, like that. We can try that, the same thing. 3 and a 4 and a. So with these basic exercises, once you get the hang of them and you start to combine them, it can really take you from a very simple groove and then build you up to way more advanced right-hand funk madness. Once you have these ideas down, we can start to combine everything, and it can take you from a more simple pattern, and then you can start to build up to something that sounds a lot more advanced. So why don't we do this pattern to start out with? We're gonna go 1, ah, and then 3E and 1 and 2E and 3E and 4E and E and And then we can build up from there and make things sound a lot more cooler. So I'm gonna pick up the tempo here. I'm gonna have some freedom with moving the chord around, and maybe I'll throw in some extra stabs, and we'll just see how it sounds. Here we go. So feel free to have some fun with it. The possibilities are endless. I'd recommend using a metronome or having a backing track with a drum loop or something like that to play along with to make sure your time is staying solid the whole time. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you learned some cool ideas for some more fun funk playing, and we'll see you in the next video.